You're listening to the Business and Life Podcast, where 7 days a week, proven entrepreneurs share their success stories, failures, and give you true value on how you can build a great business and an awesome life. With your host, Mike Olivas.
All right. I miss the weather there. I'm not going to lie, man. It's nice here, but it's humid. Hence the dehumidifier. All right. Okay. Jaime, hey, welcome to the show. I'm honored to have you on board.
Great to be here, Mike.
So tell our listeners a little bit about what compelled you and what it is that you specifically do for TAG.
Well, my introduction to this, way back in my early college years, I knew I needed to get some people skills. So I remember a professor in accounting of all things, this is back at University of Saskatchewan. He said, hey, listen, guys, close your textbooks. He says, your good grades are going to get you the job interview. It's your people skills that are going to get you the job. And I really felt like he was talking to me because I would work hard on the grades, work hard on the books, but I've always been an introvert. I've always been a little insecure. So I joined a door-to-door sales company back in 1998, really just to sharpen my people skills and learn the art of selling, learn how to persuade. And then I felt I would open up some doors from there, like maybe I'll go to law school, maybe be a lawyer, who knows. But I just thought that would be a really good place for me to start in the world of business and just never look back from that point.
Awesome. Give us our listeners a detailed scoop about what TAG Champs is.
All right, so TAG, the website's tagchamps.com, but TAG is basically hired by, I want to say, Fortune 500 companies. So AT&T's been a big long-term client of ours, Verizon, and we're hired to do the face-to-face customer acquisition for them. So if you walk into a retail store, let's say, and you see an AT&T booth, that'll be one of our employees in there selling you on AT&T, DirecTV, all the different services that they have to offer. It's not a Best Buy or Walmart employee. It's not an AT&T employee. We're like a third-party vendor. So we do this face-to-face customer acquisition either by going door-to-door, business-to-business, or in retail stores.
Awesome. How did you come up with the concept?
Well, I didn't. Again, I started off in an office just selling a coupon book, really, is all it was. It was a coupon book going door to door, but the coupon industry, one thing led to another. I mean, when I started in 98, it was like little local restaurants here in Southern California, as you and I were talking some California talk.
Yeah.
And then we did a good job with the restaurant clients. Then all of a sudden we got into Major League Baseball and we're selling tickets for the Anaheim Angels and different Major League sports teams. And then that eventually turned into the telecom industry. And now it's turning into, we're going after the big heavyweights now, which are Amazon and Google. So, these big tech companies need that face-to-face representation.
So how many years have you been in business?
21 years.
Oh, wow. Awesome. So tell me some of the fun parts of the entrepreneurship journal. Business and Life listeners are all about either possibly building their companies, starting their own company. Maybe it's a guy, hey, man, I'm smarter than my boss. I can do this. I can figure this out, right? We've all been there. Or no different than the coupon process where I can figure this out, turn it into something different, scale it, but do it on my own. Tell me some of the hurdles that you've had to jump through your entrepreneur journey and maybe some of the listeners where they can get some value out of it.
Well, the hurdles, Geez, there's
so many.
Why, if being an entrepreneur is so great, how come more people aren't doing it? And I think it's really simple. To me, we actually did a study. We did an exit interview with all the people that left our business. We literally hire thousands of people per year. And we have a turnover. So many people come in with all the right intentions and they leave because it's so difficult. But our survey came up with 3 big reasons to why people leave. And I think it's true of all entrepreneurs. The long hours are a big pain in the butt. You are not going to work 40 hours a week and call yourself an entrepreneur. Elon Musk was quoted, he got in a little hot water a couple months ago. He said, nobody did anything great on less than 80 hours a week.
Ooh.
But a lot of people don't want to hear that.
Tim Ferriss is turning over, right? What's going on? What happened to the 4-hour work week?
Well, I like Tim Ferriss. And
oh, no, for sure.
Most people miss the first couple chapters of Tim Ferriss.
Yeah.
But he had to work his butt off and then eventually start outsourcing many things to get to a 4-hour work week.
Yep.
But the long hours are going to be intense in the beginning, no doubt about it. The unstable pay is going to be very, in your face in the beginning, like, oh my goodness, I could make more money somewhere else. And then just dealing with constant failure. I mean, it's hard on the ego to keep falling down and falling down and falling down. I mean, most people just want something easy. Yep. So those three things made me question my existence many times in the business world.
Yeah.
And, I just kept going. I kept thinking to myself, if I can't handle this, if I can't handle the up and down pay, the long hours, and really the rejection, well, then I have to come to terms that, Jamie, one day I'll never own a restaurant or another entrepreneurial gig because they're all going to be the same.
Yep, 100%.
They're all going to be the same.
I think that's a really good point, Jamie. Those are great recap sound bombs there. Why do people not become entrepreneurs or look back and say, well, maybe this is why it failed? I think the long hours is huge. You're absolutely right. Like there's no, I'm not sure if Elon Musk, you're right, he probably got some heat, but there's some truth, a lot of truth to it. You're absolutely right. You might be on the couch, but you have your laptop on the couch with you, right? Like you're nonstop and the unstable pay, I do some business coaching, and a lot of that sometimes bringing people from the business world into the entrepreneurial journey. And sometimes, they work full time on their job. And I say, let's work part time on your life. Jim Rohn said that, I think, best. And then, eventually that model turns upside down and now it's your life. But it takes some time. If that stability there is that important. The dealing with failure, man, that is, you hit it on the dot. That's dealing with it is sometimes, I think, what gets easier. A friend of mine, we're chatting the other day, and we were talking specifically about that. Like, how do you deal with the stress? And I'd say you start, just like you mentioned, you start, the word dealing with it is that you deal with it, and it gets easier along the way. It doesn't go away. It's not like you don't get a lot of fires happening every other day, right, in business, but you learn how to deal with them, and you take bullets straight on versus dodging them a little bit in the beginning, I think. So that's great advice. Thank you for that, Jamie. Tell me a little bit about why you think, when you look at TAG, right, and when you started this company, what were some of the most important aspects of that business to get it and to scale it, to turn it into a model? Was it systems? Was it people? Was it initially, obviously, it was you. You had to create the whole thing first. You were a solopreneur and then obviously branched out, right? What do you think was the biggest reason why you were able to scale and move forward, revenues, growth, et cetera?
Yeah, I mean, well, a couple things. I mean, one, so when I first started in 1998, small scale stuff, I remember we went to a small town representing a video store, and there were only 2 video stores in town. So we're going door to door talking to people about coming to this video store, and lo and behold, the other video store in town went out of business. I mean, that was when it sort of dawned on me, like, wow, this stuff is really powerful. Like this whole, even people that don't buy it, just a face-to-face commercial is a really strong way to influence somebody, a lot more than a direct mail piece or a spam or something like that. So as far as just the niche industry that we went into, it's not a crowded space, right? Like I don't know. I mean, if you go into spaces that are really difficult, I mean, that to me is a tell that you're getting into a beautiful space. Is nobody wants to get into it. It's really tough. It's hard. Great. Bring it on. That's the space for me. If everybody's going right, I kind of want to go left. You kind of want to go against the grain.
Yeah.
So we got into a niche. And really our big thing is it's all about integrity. I mean, all of our clients have been skeptical from day one, like, okay, so we're going to trust our brand. I mean, think of AT&T. We spent billions of dollars on this big, beautiful blue logo, and we're going to trust you, this third party, that's going to sell this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can do that. And so we have made integrity like a cornerstone of our business, that we want to get the results our client wants with integrity, where we want the client to say to themselves, we think that this company cares more about our brand than our own employees do.
Awesome.
So if you want to call that a process, or you want to call that just a value, that value has created a nice reputation for us in our industry, where our clients know that when we work with them, They're going to get amazing representation. When we do make a mistake and we do have a rep that maybe does something foul, we are quick to jump on that, quick to correct it, and we don't tolerate any shenanigans in the field.
Life Nation, we're all striving towards different goals. Maybe your goal is to finally quit the 8 to 5 grind, quit your job, or take the next step with your existing business. Whatever the goal may be, regardless of your reasons, if you are serious about taking the next step and finally trying to build the life that you deserve, the life that you want to live, take the leap of faith. Go to michaellevis.com and let's discuss your goals and life. It's 100% free. There's no obligation. It's michaellevis.com. Schedule a quick call. I'd love to help. That's awesome. That's a great value bomb. No pun intended on the value aspect, but 100%. And I think there's transparency there, right? JB, when it comes to being able to, as a company owner and entrepreneur, and knowing that even your executive level team understand that there's a transparency piece where you feel good waking up in the morning knowing what you're selling because it's real. It's tangible and you've proven it. But the value aspect of it is a lot of companies sometimes forget. They think of branding. They're looking at clicks. They're looking at analytics more when it comes down to, listen, we care. How do you prove that? And sometimes it's just doing it. And so that's very awesome. In terms of the face-to-face stuff, I'm really interested in this, and it's a follow-up on that. Does most of your company, most of your business focus on the face-to-face type of acquisitions, face-to-face business?
Yeah, we have telemarketing, digital marketing, but we built the business on face-to-face. So we have, so again, whether it's going business to business, whether it's going literally house to house, or whether it's in retail stores, we're literally talking to tens of millions of people on an annual basis across the country.
Wow. I think there's so much, there's a lot. And although digital marketing and advertising, of course, has a role, and we all have to jump into that role or else we're not evolving with it. And I think that's important. But I like where you started it with the face-to-face world. We have some marketing chats and people that I've spoken to, whether on the podcast or in masterminds, and I quoted this and I say something, I might come back and bite me in the ass. We'll see. But I really feel that it's, especially if you're in a niche demographic or you have a niche customer or client base, the face-to-face angle and or just the relationship angle, I think might be coming back. I think millennials and other people are just getting way, if anything, they're just so used to, and numb to the advertising on their ads in front of their faces. And that's okay. It's great maybe for the branding, but I think conversions in the long term are going to be a shake of the hand and or a conversation on video like this that we're all blessed to have. Things like the Zooms and the GoToMeetings of the world and the Hangouts. But I think the face-to-face angle has a lot of value. So for the listeners out there, what is your demo? What is your demographic? How many customers do you truly need? Or are you branding or are you selling? Right? There's a couple of different things I think to look at. And obviously there's different outlets to hit each of those. What is something that you feel, Jamie, is something that you look back now at 10, 15, 20 years ago that you wish you would have known now in this stage of your career?
When I first started, listen, growing up in Saskatchewan, Canada, I don't claim to know a lot about anything, so it's a farming world there. It's a real small town. It was a fairly sheltered life. I came to California with kind of a learn-it-all mentality, not a know-it-all mentality. So if I would have known anything, let's just say I had some gifted knowledge that dropped on my lap 15 years ago. The way to success is going through failure.
Yeah.
So almost if I would have had knowledge on how to avoid failure, I might have actually avoided success in the process.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't really take a look and say, I wish there was something I wish I knew or I would have had an advantage. It's like, you just got to fail your way to the top. That's how you do it. So I don't know. I think just coming in with a sponge mentality into the business world, I was seeking mentors. I was seeking people that were at a point that I wanted to get to. I was looking for role models, people that had good marriages, good family lives, good successful business, good in philanthropy. And I found those people, and I was studying them and asking them questions, probably similar to what you're doing with your podcast. People are trying to connect to people that can be good role models.
Yeah.
And so there's really nothing that I wish I would have known back then because, again, I might have feared the failure if I would have known about some of the roadblocks. But I think you just got to go right you got to plow through the roadblocks to get the success.
You're right, and it makes the fruits of your labor so much more sweet, right? When you find success on however anybody would be to label that and or define success, whether it's financial or if it's freedom, whatever, or both sometimes come together from an entrepreneur standpoint. But you're right. I think that the roadblocks, the failures, you got to fail your way to success. You said it 100%, and any entrepreneur out there can. I mean, look at Jeff Bezos said it on one of his speeches before, which was, if I were to create a business plan to assume that we're going to have, tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of employees, I would have definitely failed. I mean, he said definite, very, very quote unquote, definitely failed, because it evolves. Business evolve. You would have never known you had been in one business than the other, or it takes a different shift. But I think that for the listeners, Life Nation, if you're listening, the idea is what is it that you want to do, and understand that failure is part of the process. It's not an if, it's part of the process, right? And that's something that's important for people to be inspired, hopefully, for guys like Jamie that have done it, that have seen it, and had to go through a lot of, not hurdles, sometimes mountains. Tell people a little bit about what you got going on right now, Jamie, maybe about the business, how they can find you.
Just one more thought too on, and maybe
please.
You've heard this as an entrepreneur. I always like telling entrepreneurs that, welcome to the world of baseball. I mean, if you're a rock star baseball player, like let's say Mike Trout, I don't know if you're an Angels fan.
Yeah, I love Mike Trout.
I mean, this guy fails 70% of the time, and he's a rock star.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're only getting on base 30% of the time. So if you're going to start crying the blues when you're failing, like, you're not going to last in baseball, because nobody bats 1,000.
That's right.
You just got to, years ago I had Danny Tartable work in my office. He was an ex-New York Yankee, used to be on Seinfeld all the time. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, Danny, tell me, all you really good baseball players, I'm curious, did you ever have a time where you thought, you got a pitcher and he's struck you out a bunch of times, did you ever have doubt when you got up to bat? And he just looked me dead in the eye and says, Jamie, none of us ever think we're going to get out. He says, every time I stood up to bat, I knew I was going to get on base. And I'm like, even though your batting average is only 300 at best, you knew you were going to get on base? And in a 16, 17-year career, yes, he knew he was going to get on base every single time he went up to bat. So he didn't let the nose even phase his brain for 1 second.
I love that.
All have short-term memories, as these rock star athletes.
Oh, yeah.
Entrepreneurs need to have the same short-term, memory, and understand you're playing the game of baseball.
Oh, I love athletic analogies to business. I think it fits in so many different levels, and taking the shots that you're not, not being able to obviously make any shots that you're not taking, or walking up to the plate just with that kind of confidence, right? So walk up to the plate, entrepreneurs listening, future entrepreneurs listening, like that's what you got to do. You got to have that confidence, right? And a lot of times it's not about the product and the service. It's about you. It's your mindset, knowing that I'm going to get through this. I'm going to figure this out. And I love that aspect when it comes to the walking up to the plate. I'm going to hit a home run every time. I'm going to get on base every time. Well, you're right. You know what? The law of averages says I'm not, but you're going up there saying that you are. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's getting you excited right now? What's part of the business, part of TAG? What is it that you guys are working on right now in terms of your company?
Yeah, well, whether this pans out or not, we'll see. But I'll just, anybody listening can understand this big time. I mean, I'm very interested in the whole smart home.
Yeah.
Like I think that sooner or later in America, in the next 20 years, robotics and AI and this, every home's going to be a smart home. So for the most part, I have a smart home. My cell phone kind of runs everything in my house, from the air conditioning to the lights to the door to the alarm, everything like that. So if you walk into Home Depot right now, there's a small section of Google products there. So Google's getting into the smart home business too. Lots of equipment. You can buy the Google Assistant. You can buy the Nest. You can buy all these different products that they have. The problem is, if you're there shopping on the shelf and you have a question about these products, you have to ask a Home Depot employee, and then the Home Depot employee just comes over there and reads the specs with you.
Oh, yeah.
So I see a disconnect with their wonderful, beautiful products that they have and how to get it in the home.
100%.
So we want to figure out a way with Google on how to really get our foot in the door. Now, again, with the business that we have, we can get our foot in the door with door-to-door, retail, business-to-business, digital marketing, or telemarketing.
Sure.
But then once we're in the door, our sales guys who, I want to call them the Google gurus, will get in there, assess all your needs for the home, and sell you the right product that you need. We don't want to sell somebody something that they don't need, but so many of these products are so cool.
Yeah.
Keyless door entries. I mean, all this stuff. Have your home, again, with something like all the different home security, like Ring.com and stuff like that, you can get home surveillance for your home at $3 a month kind of thing, right? Like there's so many cool features with this that I see a long-term play happening with, the Googles and Amazons of this world on really getting their products into every home in America. And they need something more than just digital marketing. I mean, a tech-savvy person can do it on their own, no problem. But there's a huge chunk of the population that needs somebody to please explain these products. Can I even install it myself? Do I need a technician to come out? It needs some interaction, and that's really the niche that I want to provide here for this.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, plus, who do you think's going to Home Depot? People that want to feel, touch, right? People that are going to Best Buy to buy the TV, that they don't have to go to Best Buy to buy the TV. They want to feel it, they want to touch it, they want to look at it. So that's a great angle, great demographic. Hopefully, I wish you luck on that. That sounds like an awesome angle for you guys to be what's the term? And I'm looking forward. Is it VARs, value-added retailers? Is that something that's similar in your industry where you're able to take a certain product and take it out at a mass level in different angles and different? Is that similar to what you guys do on the VAR side?
I guess similar, yeah. I mean, all these companies are trying to get into the heavy traffic areas, Walmart and all these other places, and be able to sell and market their products. So yeah, I mean that's the value that we had. Whether they want to do it door-to-door retail, we did this for solar as well too here in California.
Oh, cool.
We sold thousands of different solar systems just by meeting homeowners. They had lots of questions about it. We set up in-home consultations and fit them with the right product that fit their needs, whether they want to own it or lease it or whatever.
You should come out to sunny Puerto Rico where I'm at. I'll tell you, I don't see any solar, but all there is sun.
Yeah.
All there is sun here. So you can tap into that market if you'd like. Tell the Business of Life listeners a little, maybe if there's one thing that you'd like to part with, some parting advice, on what they could walk away with if they want to become an entrepreneur based off of your success stories and experiences. What would you tell them?
Well, I think, as you and I had the nice little dialogue before, and you complimented me on my beautiful family, and I said, well, there's my why, and every day I can look at my beautiful family and count my blessings, but they've always been my motivation. So I think before somebody gets into business, I think you got to ask yourself, like, well, why? Is there either enough pain in being an employee and feeling jerked around, or your ideas aren't valued, or you're not encouraged to go the extra mile? I mean, there's some companies you can't even work more than 40 hours a week if you wanted to,
Right.
Like, how do you get ahead? I mean, I saw this with my dad being a school teacher. I mean, no matter what he did, he'd make the same compensation, and I just thought that was wrong. I mean, my dad was very good at what he did. He worked very hard and got paid the same as somebody working half as hard as him.
That's right.
So is there enough pain? Is that your why? You want to do bigger things? I mean, for me, my big why before I started in business, I wasn't married. I didn't have kids, but I knew I wanted to be married. I knew I wanted kids. And I knew once I had kids, I wanted the time with my family. So I just looked at my 20s and 30s and said, if I got to front load my career and go crazy and be the risk taker now, I'm willing to pay that price so I can have that freedom down the road. But I was very in touch with my why. Simon Sinek talks about this all the time.
100%. Yeah, I love that.
I really buy into that if you've got your why sound, the what and the how is relatively easy as long as you've got a strong why.
100%. I mean, that's what's driving you every day, right? You get that. And I think that I love that even before you had it, you saw it, right? Understanding that the light at the end of the tunnel was the family, the lifestyle that you want to live. And a lot of the people that I like to talk to are similar to you, Jamie, is because they've done that and they saw that years before, right? And that's awesome. So congratulations, by the way, on being able to do that on The Amazing Family. And I appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, same to you. Congratulations to you, Mike.
Thanks so much. Life Nation, you got to remember that in order for things to change, you must change. And in order for things to get better, you must get better. You just got better by hanging out with me, Michael Liebus, and the Business and Life Nation. So come back tomorrow because I'm here dropping sound bombs 7 days a week, baby. If you'd like to subscribe, please do so you can take action and execute. See you tomorrow.